Hey everyone, my name is Young Falcon, and today I wanted to talk about Pokemon Legends Arceus. I just beat the game recently, and I don't really have the time for a full-fledged review, so I hope this quick final impressions will suffice. If you guys enjoy this content, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help the channel go a long way, and of course, let's get straight into it. So let's start with the first big detractor of the game, right? Because it's pretty much my only complaint, and it's the presentation. I was definitely, one of the main reasons I wasn't even going to get the game was because it looked so, I guess, rough around the edges. Usually the trailers just made it look kind of bland, kind of like another Sun and Moon affair where it's just going to be wild areas this time, but they didn't really show enough for me personally at the time that I saw the trailers, by the way, that it was going to do much different in the Pokemon formula. It just looked like another Pokemon game, but set back in time, if you know what I mean. So I was avoiding it. I wasn't even watching trailers and stuff or anything. I was like, okay, well, cool, new Pokemon game, I guess. Until they dropped their like final trailer, and I was like, whoa, it actually looks open, and you're rolling around and kind of dodging Pokemon. This looks a little interesting, a little different. So of course I picked the game up. And I was pleasantly surprised, minus the one gripe I have, which was the presentation. And I wanted to come at this not from a critical angle, because again, that's not this kind of review. It's just something that I noticed. It isn't bad, right? It doesn't look flat. It doesn't look like lifeless or anything. It's a little rough around the edges. It grows on you, you definitely see the potential. Personally, I think the graphics and texture work definitely need a little bit of help there, definitely need a little bit of assistance, mainly in terms of the fact that you're using the Switch and the hardware probably isn't powerful enough for really good textures and things like that. So the art style tries to carry what it can, but it needed a little something, and I feel like that little something was a shell shader, right? If they just threw on a Breath of the Wild style shell shading, or Persona, whatever type of franchise you want to throw out. I guess SMT5 recently was on the Switch. That kind of had a cell shaded vibe, and went for that kind of look and gave it a bit of a personality that way, it would have done leagues better in terms of the visuals. The first area is definitely a bit rough, but as you make your way throughout the game, it definitely has things going for it, like when you're swimming around and the water is literally dropping off your character and things like that later in the coastal region, or when it's snowing in a certain region and your character's literally covered in snow and stuff. Like, you can tell they did put their all into aspects of the game. It just needs a little bit more work, so that's why I'm not knocking it too hard. And again, it really grew on me, especially towards the end of the game. Now it's just whatever. The other biggest one was frame rate. They really got to fix that frame rate, especially during some of the boss fights. It gets pretty hard to, play through. Definitely borderline Dark Souls 1 levels, if you guys remember the 360 Dark Souls 1, of hard, but it's not the end of the world, especially because, again, it's Pokemon, so you don't really need all that stuff. But yeah, those are my only gripes with the presentation. Everything else looked great. I love how the UI is set up. It's very clean, easy to manage. It's very simple to open up all your different menus and things of that nature. I do wish there was a quicker way to access some of the menus, like, going from your Pokédex to your item bag and maybe doing that in one fell swoop rather than having to close it and then open it again. If there's a way we could just have a giant menu that does everything for us in the next game, that'd be awesome. But overall, it gets the job done. It has a couple of tiny, typical JRPG UI things that I don't like, which is, like I said, just opening the myriad of menus. But other than that, it's a really standout looking title, especially in terms of how the UI and certain aspects of that is done. So no gripes there. As for the Pokemon in the overworld and stuff, I didn't really give it a lot of people were talking about. I thought they looked great. Like, they were always interacting. You saw them sleeping sometimes. They'd splash around. They'd kind of waddle and stuff. They get mad at you and try to ram you with whatever moves they have, or do the super special thing. And it's crazy, right? It gets pretty hectic out there in the world of Hisu. But man, what a fun time kind of exploring and figure out how to take down all the different Pokemon. And that was my biggest pull away from the game, was you get immersed in this game very quickly, just because you're finally interacting and it feels so natural, right? Being able to perfectly go throughout the game and line up shots and capture the Pokemon you want to capture and stuff, that's really awesome. It really is. And I think the thing that really sucked me in for the most part was all the unique, crazy, kooky ways I get to set up just capturing Pokemon and not having to constantly battle over and over, even in the later game. It's not something that ever just, eventually ramps up in difficulty. There's so many different ways you can capture Pokemon without being seen, without having to go into battles and all that jazz, which is really great. I really like that freedom of approaching how you want to play the game. And it even lets the player kind of get rewarded from that with the Pokédex, which is a little bit into the gameplay segment, so I'll save it for that for a bit later. But you guys get what I'm trying to say here. It's very immersive to crouch in the grass, throw a berry, kind of bait them, capture the Pokemon, or if they're coming at you, you stun them with the scatterbang and they don't know what to do and you run away and get out of there because you need to reload or recharge your Pokemon. That stuff is really, really enjoying, and I got, what's it called, sucked in, if you will, very fast with that. So thumbs up there. I think another big thing about the presentation that pulls you in is that music, right? The music is so comfy. The music does such a good job of just bringing you right in, feeling at home. Sometimes you leave the game on, you know what I'm saying, and you take a little nap or whatever because it's that good, That's my favorite part of the Pokemon titles for sure. They always have banger OSTs, and this one is no exception. So, yeah, good stuff overall in terms of, I guess the one bad thing about the presentation kind of doesn't really matter because all the good cancels it out, if you guys get what I'm trying to say. As for the gameplay, I think it's very, very standout. Like, I was having an absolute blast, as you could probably already hear in the background. It was like having so much fun capturing the Pokemon and doing my thing. I just kept moving and rotating my team and trying to find stuff that worked for me, and that was the biggest draw in with this game in terms of its gameplay, was the gotta catch 'em all feel. Usually in the Pokemon games, I don't really care. You get your fire starter, you get whoever you need, and you just run through the game and it's easy. But this game, even though it is still easy, right, it's still definitely a little bit on the easier side, I found myself switching off of Pokemon more. I was using Pokemon I never use in my entire life, like ghost types and stuff, because it was so invigorating to want to take down and figure out and check off the Pokédex checkboxes to, eventually complete your Pokédex and complete that research for each Pokemon. So you're finally, for once in a Pokemon game, constantly rotating through all 240 or, whatever amount you want to use, and it never once felt tedious. I don't know how they did it. I always was like, oh, I have to check off one more thing to catch a Pokemon, without them seeing me. We'll go set that up right now, and I'm running back to go do it, right? Oh, I need to do one more thing. I gotta kill it with an ice move. Good thing I have an overpowered character that could just one-tap him with the ice move. Oh, I gotta do this, It was beyond, like, invigorating and really just sucked me in. I loved that aspect of the game, and it made sure that I never got bored. I never once got bored or tired of doing it, and that was my biggest takeaway with the gameplay. It was so much fun. And for once, the game definitely kind of nudges you and pushes you in that direction to finally switch off your team, try someone new, get someone else in there, and get someone else in rotation so you can check off their research, so you can grind with them, have them in the back pocket. You never know when that Pokemon might evolve and become better for you in the future. So that was really awesome. And if you capture too many low-level Pokemon, there's ways in-game to help you kind of level up quickly and get them to where they need to be if you have to go to a higher level region or want to level them up for evolution purposes to, again, check off a little checkbox, I should say, sorry. So that was really awesome. I think the amount of ways you interact with the world gameplay-wise, like I said, throwing berries, distracting, etc., and then finally checking off the Pokédex and it feeling really meaningful, that was the biggest takeaways from this game that really brought me in and made me go, okay, this is the next step for Pokemon. And honestly, really fun comfort JRPG for me, if not a game I could easily boot up and replay right now just because I had so much fun doing it. I never once got tired or bored or upset or anything, didn't run into any bugs or none of that. It was just very, very relaxing. And I think that's a great takeaway from this game. That's what you want Pokemon to be. So yeah, that was my biggest thing. I think it was a really awesome time collecting all the Pokemon, exploring all the different regions. Again, not trying to get into too many spoilers. I had an absolute blast with it. And the storyline, for once, was something I was actually kind of encapsulated in. It was really fun to follow. Definitely one of the more interesting Pokemon stories. I didn't really completely understand all of it. It's been a while since I played Diamond and Pearl, so some stuff definitely had me a little confused. But I felt for the characters at the end, and I definitely felt like I was making a difference in the Jubilife region, if you will, or village, if you will, and that was my that was a really heartwarming experience. So yeah, overall, should you get Pokemon Legends Arceus? I think it goes without saying it's well worth the $60. There's a lot to traverse and do, and it feels very natural to unlock things and have a good old time, and there feels like an infinite amount of fun to be had in terms of unlocking all the different regions and then unlocking all the different Pokemon in those regions and just checking off the boxes for that Pokédex, and it never really got old for me. So yeah, it was great. As for the overworld, I forgot to mention, as for the overworld, yes, I have to say this, the alpha Pokemon are terrifying. The game turns into a straight up horror game when those guys come out, because you don't really know like what they're going to do, what they're going to throw out at you, and it gets very stressful trying to run away if you're under leveled and whatnot, and that was really fun. I don't know, I forgot that to mention the gameplay, but yeah, all the Pokemon being aggressive and doing whatever, like that goes without saying. I could have said that earlier, like rolling away and stuff, but man, what a crazy time. Yeah, this game was sick. Highly recommend it, and it was a really fun standout time. So thank you guys for listening to me ramble about Pokemon for a while. I just really enjoyed the game. I'm gonna throw some casual gameplay up. It's not gonna be anything crazy. And I hope you guys enjoy this little quick look. If you guys, once again, like the content, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. I also have a bunch of King of Fighters videos I'm doing right now, and we talk about Guilty Gear and stuff a lot. I'm an FGC guy for the most part. But yeah, it really does mean a lot and go a long way if you help out. So thank you. And of course, I'll see you guys hopefully next time. And I wish you all have a wonderful day. Please take care of yourselves. It's getting crazy out there. And I wish you the best. Peace.